The silence in the air felt heavier than the humidity in the Afghan valley. Sergeant First Class Jackson, Jax, Riley wiped sweat from his brow. His team, SEAL Team 7, scattered in a loose perimeter around the wadi. For the past 4 hours, they had been a ghost operation, a whisper in the wind. Then came the first shot. The snap crack of the Kalashnikov ripped through the quiet, followed by another and another. It was an ambush, meticulously planned and executed. Jax's hand instinctively tightened around his rifle as he looked at his comms operator, Ethan "Ghost" Carter, whose face was illuminated by the green glow of his radio. "Contact," Ghost hissed. "East flank, they're pouring in." The radio crackled to life, filled with the urgent, coded chatter of men under fire. Their mission, a simple reconnaissance run, had just become a brutal fight for survival. As the air filled with the whine of bullets and the shouts of men, the situation grew desperate. The SEALs were pinned down, outnumbered, and in a kill zone. "This is Ghost," Ethan's voice was strained. "We are taking heavy fire. Requesting immediate air support. Grid coordinates G, 5-7-2B. The radio went silent for a moment, then a cool, detached voice responded, "Copy, Ghost. A-10 coming in hot. Give me your position and the threat's location." There was a collective groan among the SEALs. The call sign was "Witch," and everyone knew it. The whispers from the base were legendary. A female pilot, new to the area, with a reputation for being too green, too slow, and a jinx. Jax could hear the mockery in his team leader's voice as he spoke to the pilot. "Witch, this is Ghost. Our position is marked by smoke. Hostiles are within 50 meters, closing fast. We need you to drop ordnance right on our positions." The silence that followed was thick with tension. Was she going to pull the trigger? Could she even hear them over the gunfire? Above them, through the haze and dust, a silhouette appeared. It wasn't the sleek, dart-like shape of an F-16 or the menacing profile of a bomber. It was an A-10 Thunderbolt II, a flying tank of a plane, slow and ugly, a relic of a bygone era. For a moment, the mocking whispers felt justified. The aircraft, affectionately known as the Warthog, seemed to drift slowly across the sky, a sitting duck. But Jax noticed something. The pilot wasn't just flying. She was a sculptor, shaping the air around her with minute adjustments. Her left wing dipped, then her right. It was a precise, calculated ballet, not the reckless showboating of a hotshot pilot. "Witch, what's your status?" "We're taking casualties." Ghost's voice was now laced with desperation. The voice of Witch responded, calm and steady. "Stay clear, boys. I'm coming in." The phrase, dripping with southern drawl, felt out of place against the backdrop of war, yet it held a certain, chilling resolve. As the plane banked, Jack saw the insignia on the nose, a snarling warthog with a single rose clutched in its teeth. He recognized the symbol. He had seen it on her helmet during a briefing at the base. Her call sign was Witch, a cruel nickname given to her by her peers, but her real name was Major Alice Witch Miller. The story was that her flight instructor, a grizzled old veteran, had nicknamed her Witch after she had saved her squadron during a botched training exercise. He said she flew her plane like a witch on a broomstick, fast, low, and with a deadly purpose. The mocking tone changed to one of respect, then awe. The story wasn't mockery, it was a legend. The A-10 suddenly dipped its nose, and the air split with a sound unlike anything Jax had ever heard. It wasn't a roar or a scream, but a deep, guttural rip. The 30mm Gu-8 Avenger Gatling gun, mounted on the front of the aircraft, was a storm of steel, 1,000 rounds per second. It was a sound that shook the very ground, a sound that a SEAL would never forget. Jax watched in disbelief as the line of insurgents, closing in on their position, was simply erased. There was no fire, no explosions, just the terrifying, relentless thump of the gun. The storm of steel cut a path of destruction, a surgical strike that left the SEALs unharmed. The A-10 pulled up, its wingtips almost touching the desert floor. The insurgents, broken and disoriented, retreated. The silent roar of the engine faded into the distance as the A-10 became a small in the sky. Jax looked at his team, faces streaked with dirt and blood, their bodies trembling from the shock. No one spoke. It was a testament to the skill of the pilot. The silence was broken by Ghost, his voice now filled with a quiet respect. "Witch, this is Ghost," he said. "You saved our lives." "Thank you," the radio responded, its voice still cool and calm, but now with a hint of warmth. "Anytime, Ghost. Now, you boys get your butts out of there before they regroup." The flight home was a silent one. Jack stared out the window, his mind replaying the sound of the A-10's cannon. The plane was ugly, a flying tank, but it had a certain beauty to it, a beauty born from its purpose, from its ability to save lives. He thought of the pilot, Alice Miller, the witch. Her call sign was no longer a joke. It was a testament to her skill, her courage, and her willingness to put her life on the line for the men on the ground. When they landed, Jack saw her, walking towards the hangar, her helmet in her hand. She was small, and her face was streaked with dirt. She looked tired, but her eyes held a spark of fire. She saw him, and for a moment, they just stared at each other. Jax gave a small nod, a gesture of respect, and she returned it. He walked away, the ghost of the warthog's roar still echoing in his ears. The witch had saved them, and her legend would live on, not in mockery, but in the annals of military history, a storm of steel that saved the boys on the ground.